Hello, I'm Jeannine McDevitt, Professor of English at Pennsylvania Highlands Community College and liaison for English in the ACE program. When you're teaching one of our courses through the ACE program, you are acting as an adjunct instructor at the college level. So don't talk to your students about what they will do when they are in college. In your classroom, ACE students are in college. They are receiving college credit that will transfer to a wide variety of four-year institutions of higher learning. If they do not grasp the college level material in your classroom, then they will be set up to fail when they're taking upper level courses that require the skills they should have learned. The students need to know whether they're performing at the college level. If they are not meeting the course requirements, they should not pass the Penn Highlands course and should not receive college credit. Make sure that every student who is taking the course for college credit receives a copy of the master syllabus. Should the student attend a more distant college or university, the syllabus may be needed for the institution to evaluate the course for credit. And the student needs to know the purpose and outcomes for the course. Now let's start with the basics. Here are the requirements for the two most common English courses. English 110, English Composition 1 requires 5 essays and an analytical research paper. You may require more papers, but not fewer. And you may require an essay over 500 words, but not under, or a research paper over 1,000 words, but not under. One of the essays has to be the argument essay, and the research paper must be completed before the course ends. In my classes, students who do not complete the research paper with a passing grade cannot pass the course. The outcomes of English 110 include the writing of shorter essays, the writing of the research paper, standard English grammar and usage, and the research process. Note, a review of standard English grammar, punctuation, and mechanics is part of the course, not an option or extra. A college-level handbook should be used for this course. The 8th edition of the MLA handbook must be followed. This is the edition that was published in 2016. Now, a new edition of the APA manual is coming out right now. I will provide more information about it as soon as I can, and I will post it on my Peak. I would expect the new APA to be implemented by the next academic year. English 110 teaches both MLA and APA because it's designed to prepare students for their future college courses. Instructors may use their discretion about the documentation format for the research paper in 110. You may require MLA, or you may have the students choose the documentation format that's appropriate to the subject area of the paper, either MLA or APA. The other most commonly taught course is English 200, English Composition 2 Studies in Literature. This course requires 3 short essays, each about one of the 3 genres studied, and 1 literary research paper. The course covers fiction, poetry, and drama with 1 essay about each. Each paper, including the research paper, involves literary analysis of a particular work or works, and this includes the research paper rather than just including information about the author's life, for example. Every paper in the course therefore requires the use of documentation, which must be done in MLA format since this is an English course. Assessment. Assessment's a big topic. It's the responsibility of every instructor. English 110 and English 200 have a common assessment. This generally changes from year to year, and all the instructors of English 110 will do the common assessment for English 110. So please check with the ACE liaison about the common assessment for the year in which you're scheduled for assessment. Typically, that's the year in which you have a visit from the ACE liaison. A rubric with assessment questions and a spreadsheet with which to report the results will be available to you. For English courses without a common assessment, select an outcome to assess, collect the assignment that displays the outcome, and then report the results to the liaison, who will report them to the college. Now, don't hesitate to ask the liaison, and this year that's me, if you have any questions about this process. Now, in addition, for every course, the assessment process includes the collection of graded sample papers or projects. You need to select an excellent example, an average example, and a poor example. Usually that means an A paper, a C paper, and an F paper. What if you don't get an F paper? Well, you may use a draft for this. The point is for the reader to see what your standards are for each level. But I do need to ask you to remove the student names from all the samples. Now, let's consider grading. At first glance, grading would seem to be much easier at the college level because the grade scale is 10% for each grade level. However, it really isn't the case that grading at the college level is easier. Often when I receive sample research papers for English 110 assessment, for example, the paper that's labeled an A by the instructor in the ACE class would be a C in my class. the C paper would be an F, and by the way, the F paper would also be an F. So I want to talk a little bit about the ways that grading at the high school level and grading at the college level are different. First of all, college professors will usually base some portion of the grade for a research paper on the quality of the documentation and its format. Missing or incorrect in-text citations, for example, will cause deductions in points. So will sources missing from the works cited or references page, and so will incorrect formatting on that page. In addition, plagiarism in any form is not tolerated. Minor forms of plagiarism receive point deductions. Major forms of plagiarism, such as submitting a paper from a website as if it were the student's own, faking the documentation, things like that. Major forms of plagiarism are cause for student disciplinary procedures on our campus. Students need to understand that this is the standard in American colleges and universities, and they need to take it seriously. We as instructors need to make sure that they understand and use this standard of academic integrity. I hope that I don't need to add that other forms of cheating also should not be tolerated. All right, now secondly, academic integrity is not the only issue. The quality of the writing also needs to be taken into account in the grading process. Errors in grammar, spelling, usage, and mechanics should cause some deduction of points because these errors cause confusion and lack of clarity in the text. Students need to understand that proofreading is required and expected. You may also want to evaluate the research paper for the use of some degree of formality in the tone, including the avoidance of contractions and the avoidance of slang or informal usage. Encourage the students to begin to develop a more formal academic voice. Finally, you should grade for structure and organization in essays and research papers alike. The thesis statement, topic, sentences, coherence, for a longer paper, transitional sentences and paragraphs, all this should be evaluated. I don't expect students in English 110 to have fully developed skills, but I do consider the quality of analysis and critical thinking in their papers, especially in the research paper. So what I look for is some evidence of student effort in the area of analysis and critical thinking. Mere copy and paste work in the research paper is not enough for an A grade at the college level. You may see my rubric for the research paper assignment and for other assignments as well on the ACE page in MyPeak. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the work that you do for your students in the ACE program. If you have any questions, call me at 814-262-6421 or email me at jmcdevitt@pennhighlands.edu. That's JMCDEVIT with only one T. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.